Welcome, listeners, to another deep dive on vibrations and manifestations. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Jared. Hello, Alicia, and welcome, everyone.
Hi, Jared.
Okay, before we even start, just take a breath with us.
Just a conscious one.
In and out.
Yeah.
Let's create a little space here, because this deep dive is different.
It really is. We need to frame this right from the beginning.
Yeah.
This isn't about learning more information.
Oh,
You're not here to get a new tool or a new technique. This is about one thing and one thing only.
recognition.
Yes, recognizing what has already changed inside of you.
It's so important to see this past year not as some kind of checklist you passed or failed.
Right, not a performance review.
Exactly. It was a lived experience. And we just want to start by validating you for showing up.
For all of it. Especially on the days when you were tired.
Oh, the tired days.
Or the days you were just quietly in the background wondering, is any of this actually working?
That's when the real work happens.
Mhm.
So today, this isn't a recap for your mind. This is an integration for your nervous system.
I love that framing. An integration for the nervous system. This is the moment, the threshold where all that accumulated practice finally solidifies.
It stops being something you do, and it just becomes who you are, your identity.
So we're inviting you to stand on that threshold with us, just for this little while.
And to turn around and to really, truly
Yeah.
let yourself see how far you've come.
And to ground this right away, I think it helps to look at how this process plays out in the real world. We have two sort of personal stories of this exact alignment process.
Yeah, let's start with a really meta one. Let's start with the evolution of this very show.
Oh, I love it.
When we first started this whole thing, it was pretty simple conceptually.
Very focused.
It was rooted very deeply in law of attraction principles, the work of Abraham Hicks.
all about vibration, focus, the emotional guidance system, the big ideas.
The big ideas. And for a while, it was just that. It was 2 deep dives a week where we would just talk about the theory.
And that was necessary. You need that foundation. You need to understand the what before you can get to the how.
But the how was the missing piece. It was still a little abstract.
Yeah, you can understand a principle all day long, but trying to apply it when you're, stuck in traffic or dealing with a difficult conversation, that's a different story.
That is a different story. And we started to see that in the feedback and the conversations. We realized pretty quickly that you didn't just want inspiration.
No, you wanted tools.
You wanted applied cognitive tools. You wanted practice protocols you could actually use when life got messy.
This is that classic shift from understanding a theory to actually getting utility from it, from knowing about neuroplasticity to actually, doing the things that change your brain.
Exactly. So the whole thing just started to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened fast. We started adding guided visualization.
Which are really just focused attention exercises,
Yeah.
right? Way to quiet the noise.
Totally. Then we brought in specific tools, structured exercises, things like emotional recalibration prompts.
And that led to what we call manifestation debug mode.
Which sounds technical, but really it's just a framework for cognitive restructuring. It's a way to look at a block and say, okay, what's the belief loop running underneath this?
And then it just kept expanding. There were explainer videos for the visual learners.
Meditation only tracks for people who just wanted the practice without the talk.
And then the sleep guides, which I think are so crucial because so much of this consolidation, this integration, happens beneath your conscious effort. It happens while you sleep.
It does. And then came the weekly vibe letter, the field guides, and now there's even a book on the way.
Which sounds like a lot when you list it all out like that.
It does. And here's the most important part of this whole story. For you to really understand, none of that, and I mean none of it, was a calculated marketing plan.
Oh, God, no. If it were a marketing plan, it would have been a terrible one.
A terrible one. The smart marketing move would have been to just streamline, simplify, and double down on to 2 episodes a week.
Right. But this was an alignment-based evolution.
That's the phrase. We were just listening. We were listening to you, of course, but also to the work itself, to our own intuition. It was a feedback loop.
And that process, that act of listening instead of planning, it transformed the show from just being content into being a living, breathing practice.
And it changed us, too. It had to.
It absolutely did.
We couldn't just talk about alignment anymore. With all of that creative output, we had to start embodying it just to manage the workload.
The system became its own proof of concept.
Exactly. It's a perfect little recursive loop. The work grew because we were using the work to do the work.
So that's the kind of institutional example. Let's get more personal.
Yeah, let's pivot to a different system, an interpersonal one.
So my own big journey this past year was really around relational dynamics, the energy of my
A
relationships.
huge area for so many people.
It's everything. And when I really did an honest audit, a year ago, I saw that several of my relationships just carried a really high cognitive load.
What do you mean by that?
They just felt heavy, draining. They took a lot of energy to maintain. And I realized they were being sustained by an old version of me.
An outdated identity.
Totally. The version of me who was, the perpetual peacekeeper, the overperformer, the one who made sure everyone was always comfortable.
And we know from the research that relationships like that, these high-cost connections, they dramatically increase your allostatic load, that chronic stress response.
Which works directly against all the changes we're trying to make. It keeps your system in a state of threat.
Right.
And my old default, my deeply programmed response, was to try and fix everything.
I know that one well.
Right. If a conversation was awkward, I'd just try harder. If there was tension, I would overfunction.
What does that look like, overfunctioning?
It's performing harmony. It's smoothing everything over, managing everyone's feelings, making sure the external environment looks peaceful no matter what it costs you internally.
And that creates this massive internal split, this cognitive dissonance.
Huge. And the big shift, the real practice for me, was realizing that not everything is meant to be fixed.
Some things are meant to be released.
Exactly. I had to move from trying to control the external outcome to just prioritizing my own internal congruence, my own truth.
And that meant what? Walking away from something.
It meant gently stepping away from dynamics that always required me to shrink myself, or the ones that just kept my body in a state of contraction.
That's such a powerful shift. You're
Yeah.
basically rewiring your brain to prioritize your own internal signals over the demand for social approval.
It takes practice. It really does.
Yeah.
But it was a commitment to my own nervous system and for the relationships that remained, the ones that were really valuable.
Yeah.
The practice was about changing how I showed up within them. I just stopped performing harmony.
Wow. How did that go?
Gently. It was about learning to tell the truth, but with what I'd call low arousal communication, calmly, with presence, without making it a big dramatic confrontation.
So what happened? What were the measurable results of that shift?
The connections that are real, they softened, they got lighter. The energy of the interaction is just totally changed from this high effort maintenance to, a low effort authenticity. Playful even.
That's incredible.
But I want to be really clear. Alignment doesn't mean all your problems go away. You still have challenges.
Right. It's not about creating a perfect, friction-free life.
Not at all. The change is in your autonomic response to the friction. How you meet the challenge is what's different.
It's fascinating because when you really look at it, real integrated growth almost never looks like a big fireworks show.
It's so subtle.
It's not this massive reinvention.
No. Real growth, true embodiment, looks like breathing differently in familiar rooms.
Well, that's good. Say more about that.
You're still in the same situation, maybe with the same person, but your underlying state, your cognitive and emotional state, is so different, so much steadier, that the entire system just responds to you differently.
And responds to your new frequency.
That's it. And that is the definition of a profound, quiet, neurological transformation.
And that quiet transformation is the perfect bridge to the real core of what we're talking about today.
Yes, the core teaching.
Which is that identity isn't a technique. It's not something you deploy in a moment of crisis.
Yeah.
Identity is a consolidated behavioral rhythm.
You said it perfectly. This whole year wasn't about getting better at wishing for things. It was about the process of becoming someone whose internal world just operates differently by default.
Manifestation becomes the natural byproduct of who you are, not the stressful result of something you're trying to do.
So let's revisit some of those foundational principles we've talked about all year, but through this lens, through the lens of cognitive science.
Okay, let's do it. Principle 1, attention shapes inner weather.
Neurologically, that's just selective attention, where you consistently put your focus, your mental and emotional resources. That's what your brain reinforces. You're literally deepening a neural pathway, making it the easiest road to travel.
I love that. Okay, principle 2, alignment is rhythm, not intensity.
This one is all about habit formation. A huge, intense emotional experience can feel really powerful, but it doesn't do much for long-term brain change.
It's the small, consistent, repeated inputs, the rhythm.
That's what drives structural neuroplasticity. The goal is to make the new way of being the path of least resistance in your own brain.
So good.
Okay.
Third one, contrast is information, not punishment.
This is your brain's feedback loop. It's that simple. Friction, a challenge, a failure, that's just data. It's your system telling you, hey, the way we're wired right now isn't quite working for the situation. Time to adapt.
Without the contrast, there's no signal to change.
None at all. Which leads to the next one. Your internal state is your signal.
This is everything. It's your built-in compass.
It really is. It's autonomic regulation. That feeling of ease or that feeling of tension, that's just raw, nonverbal data telling you if you're in alignment with who you're becoming.
You just have to learn to listen to it. And that brings us to the last piece, which kind of ties it all together.
That small shifts compound over time.
And because of that, you have to realize that you are always practicing something.
Always. Every single moment, every thought, every small choice is either reinforcing an old, outdated pathway, or it's helping to build and pave a new one.
There's no neutral ground.
Never. The only choice is what you're practicing into existence.
So if we take that idea of small compounding shifts, it really blows up the biggest misconception about growth.
Which is?
That it's linear, that you start at point A and just climb a ladder straight to point B.
Right. That's what our minds want. It's neat and tidy, but our nervous systems don't work that way.
So what's the better model?
Growth is a spiral.
A spiral, okay.
You will absolutely revisit old themes. That's guaranteed. You'll face that same old challenge, that same trigger, that same limiting belief.
It can feel like you're going backwards sometimes.
It can feel like it.
Yeah.
But the spiral metaphor is key because you're not in the same place. You are meeting that familiar challenge from a higher point of elevation.
You're meeting it with new awareness.
With new awareness. And crucially, with a measurably steadier autonomic nervous system. You are physically different than you were the last time you faced this.
So you're actually incapable of reacting in the exact same way.
Precisely. And that, right there, is the definition of embodiment.
It's when the change is so deep, it's not even a conscious choice anymore.
Yes. Integration isn't about being able to perfectly quote a concept. It means your subconscious default response has changed.
And the proof is so simple. It's the pause.
The sacred pause. The gap between stimulus and response.
Where you once would have instantly reacted, now there's just a little bit of space.
Or softening, where you used to physically brace for impact, now your shoulders might stay relaxed.
And you find yourself making a different choice, not because you're forcing it with willpower, but just because it feels like the easier, more natural thing to do.
That's it. That pause, that softening, that is the undeniable physical proof that your neurology has changed. Your identity has shifted.
Okay, so we have to get into the mechanism behind this, the how.
The how. And it all comes down to one single practice.
Reflection.
Reflection. If all the practices of the last year were about building the new road, reflection is the crew that comes in to pave it, to make it permanent, and to put up the big sign that says, this is the main highway now.
So let's break that down. What is actually happening biologically and energetically when you take the time to look back? Why does that active review accelerate this change from an experience into an identity?
This is where we get to bridge the hard science with the more spiritual or energetic side of this work.
And the science is really solid here. We're talking about the work of people who have spent their lives studying this.
Absolutely. When you deliberately reflect, your brain is doing something incredibly important called memory consolidation.
This is where neuroplasticity comes in, the brain's ability to change itself.
Exactly. But for that change to stick, you need two things: focused attention and repetition. Reflection gives you both.
How so?
Well, when you consciously pull up a memory, say that moment you chose to rest instead of pushing through exhaustion, that is an act of focused attention.
You're lighting up specific parts of the brain.
You are. You're engaging the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex, which are critical for memory and self-referential thought. By recalling that choice, you are literally strengthening the neural wiring that represents that choice.
It's like you're running a software update. You're transferring that experience from your short-term, effortful working memory into your long-term subconscious storage.
Perfect analogy. You're moving it from declarative memory, which is knowing the rule like I should pause,
to procedural memory.
Yes,
Yeah.
Which is where your default reaction is to pause. Reflection is the process that makes that happen. You're telling your brain, this sequence, the stimulus, the pause, the new choice, the good feeling, this is important. Prioritize this.
I love how Daniel Siegel talks about integration as the linking of differentiated parts. It seems like reflection is doing that too.
It's the ultimate linking mechanism for the self across time. When you reflect, you're forcing your brain to connect the you from a year ago with the you who responded differently today.
And that gets rid of the internal conflict.
It eliminates the fragmentation. You're creating a coherent story of self.
So when you take 5 minutes to journal about a small win, like not over-functioning in a conversation, it's not just a feel-good exercise.
Not at all. It's a high-priority neurological task. You are actively reinforcing the structural connections in your brain that make that new calm response your new normal.
It turns an event into an identity.
That's the whole game. Without reflection, that moment you chose differently is just an isolated incident, a fluke.
But with reflection, your brain stamps it with the label. This is who I am now. This is my new default setting. You're updating your core programming.
Energetically, it's the same thing. You're aligning your past self, your present self, and your becoming self. When those three are in a coherent line, the system just works better. There's less friction.
That's how experience turns into wisdom.
That is the process.
So what's the cost of skipping this step if you just keep pushing forward without ever looking back?
The cost is that the growth never lands. It never feels like it belongs to you.
It stays external, like something that happened to you.
Exactly. A lucky break, a good mood, something you have to constantly work to maintain. But with reflection, the growth becomes internal. It becomes you.
And that's exactly where this entire year of practice finally settles into your physical neurological architecture in this moment of reflection.
Which is why we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to guide you through it right now.
Yes. We're going to move into a structured process, a year-end alignment review.
And please, hear this. This is not homework. It's not a test.
It's a recognition ritual, a data-gathering exercise for your own nervous system.
So if you can, maybe just pause for a moment, grab a notebook, or just close your eyes. We're going to gather the evidence of who you've become.
Let's start with what we'll call highlight reel journaling. 3 simple questions. Just let the first thing that comes to mind be the answer. The small moments are usually the most telling.
Ready. First query. Where did my automatic response system choose differently this year?
Think about it. A moment where the old default just didn't fire. Maybe you paused instead of sending that angry text.
Or you spoke kindly to yourself after making a mistake.
Maybe you chose rest when every fiber of your being was screaming at you to keep pushing.
Or you just trusted timing. You let something unfold instead of trying to force it. Just find one moment and write down one sentence about it.
Okay. Second query. Where did I demonstrate measurable behavioral courage this year?
And remember, courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about acting even when you are.
This could be an honest conversation you were terrified to have.
It could be the quiet, unglamorous courage of just showing up for your practice day after day, even when you weren't seeing results.
Or maybe it was the resilience to try again after you felt like you failed. Find one moment, one sentence.
Okay, last one. Query 3. Where did I prioritize internal congruence, even in a small, low-stakes way?
This is choosing your own alignment over external pressure.
Like saying no to an invitation you knew would drain you.
Or starting a tiny, non-negotiable habit that was just for you.
Or, and this is a big one, letting yourself feel good, letting yourself enjoy something without feeling like you had to earn it first. One sentence.
Now look at those 3 sentences. Here's the reframe. Those aren't just memories.
They are identity markers. They are data points showing your system the new preferred route.
Now let's zoom out a little. From specific events to broader, more pervasive changes.
We want you to just observe here with kindness and curiosity. First reflection, where did I soften this year?
Where did your thinking become less rigid? Where did you let go of an absolute belief or ease up on a timeline you'd set for yourself?
Second reflection, where did I become braver in trusting myself?
Did you listen to your intuition more? Did you stand up for your own needs, your time, your energy?
Third, what no longer feels like me?
This is an analysis of what's become obsolete. What belief, what relationship, what way of being just feels like it belongs to a past version of you.
And finally, fourth, what feels truer now? What quality or resource or way of being feels more available and more authentic to you today?
And let your answers be statements of fact. I don't rush the way I used to. I feel safer in my own company.
These are not goals. This is proof. This is the evidence of the transformation that's already happened.
For this last part, we want to anchor this into your body.
So if it feels right, just place one hand on your chest, feel your own heartbeat. We're going to ask your deeper integrated self for these answers.
Ask this question slowly. Who am I becoming?
And just listen. Let a simple phrase rise up, not a goal, but a state of being. I am becoming steadier. I am becoming someone who listens to my body.
Next question. What do I trust now that I didn't before?
Maybe it's trusting your own resilience, trusting that rest is productive, trusting that you're guided.
Next. What pace feels natural to me now?
This is a question to consciously undo the frantic programming of urgency. Let your body tell you its preferred speed.
And a final, powerful release question. What am I done forcing?
What old, high-effort strategy are you ready to just put down?
You're not making a to-do list here. You are naming and claiming the identity that is already present. This is the moment experience formally becomes identity.
Now, even after doing all of that incredible recognition work, we know there's a part of the mind that's going to pop up.
Oh yes, the measuring mind, the inner critic.
The part that says, okay, but am I doing this right? Was that a good enough answer? Why did I still mess up last week?
This is where we need to bring in manifestation debug mode. But not as a way to find fault.
No, we're using it as a tool for compassionate system analysis. It's just to help you tell the difference between the feeling of integration, which is a landing process, and the feeling of striving, which is that old performance anxiety.
So let's just do a quick resonance check. Here are some signs that this new identity is truly integrating in your system.
And these are subtle, they're not loud, they're quiet.
First sign. You pause more easily. There's just a little more space between a trigger and your response.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a millisecond. That's a huge win for your nervous system.
Second, you recover faster. You still get upset, you still get thrown off. Of course you do. But the emotion doesn't hijack you for 3 days. It moves through you more quickly.
That's a sign of a really resilient internal system.
Third, you choose differently without a big internal fight. The new choice just feels cleaner, lighter. It doesn't require a massive act of willpower anymore.
The new neural pathway is just more efficient.
Exactly. Fourth sign, you say no with less justification. You don't need a 5-point presentation to defend your boundaries anymore. The no just comes from a place of knowing.
And fifth, and this is a big one, you feel less urgency to prove yourself or justify your pace.
Your own inner state of calm becomes enough. You don't need the external validation as much.
And maybe the biggest one of all, You trust timing, quietly and naturally. You're not white-knuckling your way through life anymore.
If any of those resonate, even a tiny bit, just take a second and acknowledge it. That change is real. You're not making it up.
Now, on the flip side, your system also gives you signals when it needs more time to land, when it needs more reflection.
And again, this is not failure. This is just information.
The first signal is minimizing your growth. You look back and you say, oh, that wasn't a big deal, or anyone could have done that.
That's the old identity trying to discount the new evidence.
Second signal, you're rushing toward the next thing. You can't just sit with this new state. You're already planning the next project, the next level of growth.
That's often a defense mechanism. A fear that if you start moving, you'll lose all the progress you've made.
Third, stillness feels weird. You feel unmoored or unproductive if you're not striving for something. Effort has been your identity for so long, its absence feels like a void.
And the last one, you forget how far you've come. You only see the mountain left to climb, and you completely forget the incredible distance you've already traveled.
So if any of those signals resonate, the minimizing, the rushing, the forgetting, it's not a problem to be solved.
It's just your system saying, hey, I need some integration time. It's asking you to pause, to just let this new reality land and stabilize before you add more to it.
So the debug mode question right now is simply this. What is my system asking for?
Just listen. Is it rest? Is it acknowledgement? Is it space? Is it celebration?
Let the answer be simple. You are not behind. You are consolidating. And that is the most important work you can be doing right now.
Okay, take another one of those steadying breaths.
We're moving into a final written ritual now. This is where you formalize all this recognition and make the wisdom truly your own.
We really invite you to pause after we give you these prompts. Let the answers come from that deeper, integrated place.
These are designed to create a clear, coherent story between your past, your present, and your future.
Prompt number 1, what changed in me this year?
And be radically honest. Not the pretty answer, the real answer. I breathe differently. I no longer abandon myself when I'm stressed. I'm kinder to myself.
Prompt number 2, what aligned path am I continuing?
This isn't about what you should do next. It's about what rhythm already feels true. This rhythm of gentleness, this habit of trusting small steps, this way of choosing myself.
And the final anchoring prompt, what version of me is already here?
Not who you hope to become one day. Who are you right now, underneath all the noise? Name the reliable, integrated human you already are.
And for anyone who finds this kind of structured reflection valuable, this is exactly what the Vibe Letter is for. It's just a weekly companion to help you continue this process of quiet, deep integration.
All right, we're going to shift now from the cognitive work to something more sensory.
We're going to lead you through a guided visualization, an active cognitive integration exercise to anchor all of this directly into your body's memory.
So just find a comfortable position, gently soften your body, let your shoulders drop, unclench your jaw.
Feel the weight of your body completely supported by whatever is beneath you.
And just notice your breath. Easy, natural. This is the rhythm of your integrated self.
Now, in your mind's eye, imagine you are standing in a quiet, beautiful, spacious room. This is your room. It is completely safe and deeply calm.
There's a soft light filling the space. Maybe it's that warm, gentle glow of early morning sunlight. You feel so grounded here, so present.
And ahead of you, a simple wooden doorway appears. As you watch, the door gently opens.
And the version of you from 1 year ago steps into the room.
Just observe them for a moment, with curiosity and with so much compassion, no judgment.
Notice their posture. Notice the energy they were carrying. Maybe a little hurried, maybe a little tense in a way you'd almost forgotten.
Remember the specific hopes they had. And acknowledge the invisible weight they were carrying.
Now bring your awareness fully back to yourself, right here, today. Feel your own posture, the solidity, the ease. Feel the depth of your own breath.
Just notice the difference between the two of you. This isn't a judgment, it's just data. It's the recognition of the distance you have traveled. You have lived so much since you were them.
Now, take a gentle step toward your past self. Let your presence be steady and warm. Offer them a genuine smile.
Place a hand over your heart, feeling your own calm, regulated rhythm. Let them feel that from you.
Your past self looks at you. They see you. They see the new resilience, the new steadiness in your eyes. And they speak first.
They look at you with such gratitude and they say the one thing they most needed to hear, "Thank you for becoming who I needed."
Let those words just land. Feel them in your body. Let that gratitude from your past self become a part of your cellular memory right now.
Now it's your turn to respond, not with pride, but with simple, honest truth. You look at them and you say, "I am still becoming, and I am so proud of you for beginning."
Your past self steps closer. There's no separation anymore. Allow the two versions of you to gently merge into one.
And as they merge, feel a warm, gentle light settle deep in your chest. This light is your resilience. It's your awareness. It's your hard-won steadiness. It is the feeling of coming home to yourself.
Take one last, slow, deep breath, anchoring this feeling of integration fully into your body. And when you're ready, just gently bring your awareness back to the space you're in.
You are here. You are becoming. And you are already enough.
Before we close, just take a moment to really register what you just did. This wasn't passive listening.
No, this was an act of profound, guided self-analysis.
You gathered evidence of your own neurological shifts. You named invisible changes. You literally met yourself across time to let your nervous system register the journey.
You reframed manifestation as identity. You explored the science of why reflection literally changes your brain.
You've completed the alignment review, the integration questions. You use debug mode to listen to your system instead of judging it.
And it all boils down to this one distilled truth, the soundbite for this entire year of practice.
You have become the person your past self needed.
Just let that be a fact you carry. It doesn't need proof. It doesn't need validation. It just is.
And now we look forward. Episode 100 is next. And we are framing it not as a finale, but as a celebration.
A full-out celebration of your work, your resilience, and this incredible journey we've all been on together.
So to prepare for that celebration, we have 3 final simple invitations for you.
First, just write down one sentence from today's reflection that feels deeply physically true in your body.
Second, choose one insight, just one, that you want to consciously carry with you as a guiding principle.
And third, and this is the most important one, let yourself arrive as you are.
Let go of the need to fix or improve or upgrade this integrated version of you. Just be present with who you are now.
You are not starting over from scratch. You are continuing from a place of deep embodied wisdom.
You are allowed to move at your own pace. You can trust who you are now.
Thank you. Thank you for walking this path, for doing the practice, and for becoming.
We will meet you in the celebration.